Now that we've gained all of this great knowledge, let's take a look at how we can implement that in our OneSearch. OneSearch is our academic Google, so it's going to look through a majority of everything that we have to offer for students, whether it's databases, books, ebooks, newspapers, magazine articles. It covers about 95% of what we subscribe to, so it's a great place to get started. I'm going to use the OneSearch tab and enter my term, which is social media, and search. Remember, I want to start with that keyword search and start broad. Now that I have some results, the first thing that I notice is the research starter. Remember, I want to start with that background information, so I'm just going to open it up. Now, if I didn't know much about social media, this would be a really good opportunity for me to understand it, to get a timeline, find out what maybe some issues are. And again, here's that bibliography. So if I wanted to go ahead and grab some sources from here, I could look to see if we have them here in the library as well. So I'm going to go back. And remember what we talked about earlier? If I want to build a really powerful search, I need to move from this basic search to an advanced search. And the advanced search option is right underneath your search term up at the top. Based upon that research question, maybe I'm going to be looking at mental health. And I'll search again. Anytime you add or change a search term, you want to click on search. You want to make sure that you're not going too far afield, because if you put in a whole bunch of terms without searching in between, you may get 0 results and then, oops, which was the term that threw me out? Now, if I wanted to take a look at some of these, I could. But I've glanced through some of the titles and I need to make a decision. Is it just the big broad term of mental health, or am I looking for something specific? Now, based upon what I've seen, because you're going to continue to look at results, I don't want just mental health. I'm going to look at social media and loneliness. You have to spell it correctly. And search again. So I have 803 results. But let's think back. Similar terms. For me, I don't want to just have things that are mentioning social media, because not every article that I might be interested in will use that term. So I'm going to add social media or Facebook or Instagram, because maybe in my head I have a feeling that those particular social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, are causing people to be lonely. And I'll search again. Remember, select that search button every time you change your search. And notice that we have a different number of search results. But I'm going to think about my idea of similar terms. For loneliness, as soon as I type in the "or," it gives me a drop-down list. I'm going to choose this one here, loneliness or social isolation or lonely. Remember, or is going to give me more, but the and connecting the two is going to reduce results. So now I have 4,458. I've got to figure out how to manage these results. What about phrase searching? I have some phrases up here. Remember, phrase searching is when you put the terms in quotation marks to let the database know that you want these words in this order. And I'll search again. That got rid of more than 1,000. Social isolation is a phrase. I'll also put that in quotation marks. That got rid of another 1,000. But I still have a whole bunch. I've got 2,614. Maybe my particular focus is not on everybody using social media, but I'm going to use this third box and narrow it down to college students. Because as a librarian at a community college, I'm worried about what social media is doing to the students. And always search again. Wow. So I went from 4,500 results to 54 pretty darn quick. But remember, I promised you that there's some other limiters that we hadn't already discussed. One of those is the publication date. I do not want to go all the way back to 1985. So I'm going to move this over. I'm going to try to just get to 2015. So I'll get the last 5 years. Okay, now I have 25 results. I'm really feeling good because I only need 3 for my paper. Another limiter that I might put on is I just want things that are in academic journals. My instructor has said it needs to be credible, it needs to be academic, so I'm going to put that limiter on. Wow. Now I have 10 results. And if I take a look down here at the subjects, I see that loneliness is on there. I see that Facebook is on there. I see that college students is on there. It's got everything that I need. Now, one thing that I can do at this point is to take a quick look at the abstract, and I can do that by putting my cursor over the magnifying glass, and there's the abstract. Pretty darn simple. I can read the abstract, and remember that abstract is like the movie trailer for this particular article. It's going to give the high points, what it's about. If I decide that I like it, I'm going to select the title, and I'm going to email it to myself because I don't want to lose this search. I worked too hard for it. Change my citation format. I'm using MLA. I can give it a subject. This is just Article 1, and send. Now that article is just waiting for me in my email. I can take a look at the next article. If I like this particular abstract, I could email it to myself. If I don't like it, move on. I can go to the next one. Magnifying glass, bring up the abstract. I like it, so I'm going to email it to myself. Make sure that I change my citation format. This is subject, this is number 2, and I'm sending it to myself. So as you can see, we did a lot of research in a short period of time. Now, I know that you can't remember all of this. You can always come back and take a look at the guided search that we just did. You can certainly ask a librarian, that's what we're here for. And you can also just get in there and perform some searches. The more you practice, the better you'll get. So that was a quick and painless way to use our OneSearch. And now it's time to answer some questions.